to learn more about the victims as well. 5 names have been released, and I believe that we're seeing some more images now of the victims. We're looking at one here, and if I can ask our colleagues in the control room.
This is Joseph Walker.
This is Joseph Walker.
He was the manager at Schmenge's Bar and Grill. We had mentioned earlier that many of the people who were there or many of the people who fell victim were also employees. So Joseph Walker, manager at Schmenge's Bar and Grill. We also know that Trisha Aslan, who worked there, has been confirmed as one of the dead people. And this is the newest image that we're getting of just one of the victims. We also are hearing from a number of family members of the victims, and we talked to his father this morning, and we want to take a listen to that.
When you get anything that happens like this, you go empty, and there's just nothing you can do. Your gut goes like a monster inside of you, and of course your head feels like it's going to blow off.
And his father serves on the Auburn City Council. So this has touched so many lives, and we're going to continue to hear more stories like this as more individuals are identified as we learn more about these victims here.
Yeah.
But you're looking there at photos of Mr. Walker, who
is one of the confirmed dead. You know, Terry and
Yeah.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, when we spoke to his father, Joseph, who you're looking at on the screen, had yet to be accounted for. So he, I don't believe, was aware of what had happened to his son at that point, if I'm not mistaken.
And as I understand it, last night was what's called Industry Night, where they offer a discount for people who work in the food service industry. There's a sense of community there at both of these locations. These are people who work hard in the hospitality industry to provide us a bite to eat when we're going out with our families, and on a Wednesday night, on a weeknight, offered a discount, go grab a bite, and Joseph Walker there serving patrons, and is killed. And we're just so sorry for his loss.
We are looking at some of the other victims' names here too. Joseph, who we just showed that picture of, Bob Violet, who was a bowler, Trisha Aslan, who was an employee, Stephen Vazella, who was one of the members of the deaf community that were bowling there, gathered there, or rather at Schmenge's, and Bill Brackett gathering there also, one of the members of the deaf community. And these are so far the confirmed names that we have. We do know these are not the only victims, but these are the only ones that we have confirmed names at this point. We're also learning a little bit more about them in terms of their background. Trisha, her family was there with her, at least her sister. Trisha was there not in a work capacity either. She was there bowling, because you mentioned that employee food service discount. I'm sure she was probably with family trying to have a nice evening, and we're just so sorry of this tragic development.
And Megan, forgive me here, I think that you have some information which I haven't reviewed yet, but she was credited with alerting authorities, right? That she called 911 and was in harm's way trying to protect others.
Yes, that's right. I'll pull it up here if you just give me a second. One of the pieces of information was that when it all started happening, this is according to her brother who reported this to CNN. So CNN spoke with her brother, that when all of this started happening, she ran up to the counter and started to call 911. And that's when she was shot. So, one can only infer that that was, her last act. Was trying to get authorities on the phone to help and to help all the people inside of that establishment.
Sacrifice